For decades, Iran and Israel have stood on opposite sides of the Middle East's deepest divide. But this wasn't always the case. There was, in fact, a time before the 1979 revolution, before the sanctions, before the strikes, when the two countries worked together, quietly, strategically, and in secret. So what exactly happened? How did this so-called friends turn into adversaries? Now, as missiles fly and proxies clash, here's a look at how Iran and Israel's relationship unraveled.
It may be hard to imagine this today, but long before they traded missile strikes on each other, Iran and Israel were friends, as were Washington and Tehran. The year was 1948. Shiite nation of Iran under the regime of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi became one of the first Muslim nations after Turkey to recognize Israel. Tel Aviv regarded Iran as a strategic anchor in a region dominated by hostile Arab neighbors. For Tehran, Israel was a quiet back channel to Washington and a balancing force against Arab countries. Back channels reportedly buzzed with trade, oil, and intelligence. Israel allegedly trained Iranian agricultural experts, supplied technical know-how, and helped build up and train the Iranian armed forces. The Iranian Shah supplied Israel with oil as its burgeoning economy was in need of fuel. Israel also established a de facto embassy in Tehran, and eventually the two nations exchanged ambassadors in the 1970s. Not only that, in private they allegedly focused on developing advanced missile systems and formed a trilateral spy network with Ankara called Trident. But then came 1979. The Shah of Iran was overthrown in a historic revolution, and a new Islamic Republic of Iran was born. Ayatollah Khomeini and his revolutionaries scrapped all previous agreements with Israel. Khamenei directed fierce criticism at Israel for its occupation of Palestinian territories. Israel reportedly became known in Iran as the Little Satan to the Great Satan, that is, the US. Citizens could allegedly no longer travel between Israel and Iran, and flight routes were cancelled. Meanwhile, the Israeli embassy in Tehran was also reportedly transformed into the Palestinian embassy. But here's what didn't change: the need for survival. When Saddam Hussein invaded Iran in 1980, the new Islamic Republic turned to its old foe. In secret, Israel stepped in. Iran wanted to win a war. Israel wanted to weaken Iraq. Ideology took a backseat. But after the war, things reportedly changed. Iran allegedly adopted an increasingly harsh rhetoric towards Israel with the aim of winning the favor of regional Arab states. Besides, leaders in Tehran, especially Ayatollah Ali Khomeini, the current supreme leader, questioned and denied Holocaust. The enmity grew over decades as both sides sought to cement and grow their power and influence across the region. Tehran's alleged support for a so-called resistance axis network of political and armed groups in several countries across the region, who also supported the Palestinian cause, further fueled the enmity. At the same time, Tel Aviv also began growing wary of Tehran's missile and nuclear program. Israel believes Iran's nuclear program is an existential threat, while Iran calls Israel a cancerous tumor. For decades now, they've been arch enemies, accusing each other of attacks, arming proxies, and allegedly stoking regional wars from Lebanon to Gaza to Syria. The current conflict between Iran and Israel, which rages on for the seventh day, is only worsening the enmity between the two countries, opening a new bloody chapter in the history of the two countries.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Kali radikali.
Japanese,
$4 trilhão ejo mo.
Portuguese,
Por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.